Absolutely. Let's also take a look at some of the key events that we are going to be watching out today. Lots of data to track today. Well, in India, we have HSBC Manufacturing and Services PMI data coming in later in the day. It's also the Nifty expiry, so lots of movement to track there. Apart from that, in the US, S&P Global Manufacturing and Services PMI data is also going to be released later in the day. Apart from that, home sales data in the US is something that we are going to be tracking. In the UK, again, S&P Global Manufacturing and Services PMI data is something that we'll be watching out for. In the Eurozone, we have HCOB Manufacturing and Services PMI data again. Apart from that, in terms of global earning, we have Singtel, Lenovo and Generali reporting their January to March quarter numbers today. If you look at earnings back home, we have ITC, Sun Pharma and Grasim reporting their Q4 numbers. In terms of corporate action, it's the record and ex-date for ABFRL demerger. On the other hand, Adani Ports, Ola Electric Board, these are the two companies that are going to mull fundraising. Apart from that, Concor is also expected to mull a bonus issue. Lastly, it's the last date to be eligible for the rights issue if you're considering Mahindra Lifespaces developers.
Right, eyes will also be there on the Bitcoin, which has already touched all-time high, as I mentioned earlier. But news from war front, Israel forces continue to besiege hospitals in northern Gaza while drones attack water tanks. Reports now suggest that Israel's ground offensive has claimed 93 innocent lives, even as international condemnation towards Israel picks up the pace. The United Nations chief spokesperson has said that the limited humanitarian aid finally entering Gaza is nowhere near enough to meet the needs of the war-torn enclave's population. Within last hour, only 90 trucks have entered the region, distribute aid to the people. And meanwhile, Netanyahu promised that all Gaza will be under the Israel's army control at the end of latest offensive in his first news conference since December. In fact, the Israel military forces have fired warning shots at a delegation of the international diplomats visiting Jenin, the occupied West Bank, prompting condemnation and calls for investigations from several of the bloc's countries and its top diplomats.
That's right. Let's also shift focus to the world of macros and equities then. Now, corporates are feeling the tariff heat. Nvidia top boss Jensen Huang said that overnight that US chip export controls are a failure and warned that restrictions are doing more damage to American business than to China. He speaks of the plunge in companies' China market from 95% to a whopping 50%. The Chinese Commerce Ministry has in fact responded to the chip policy, calling it an overreaction and bullying, and demanding that the White House correct its mistakes. On the flip side, Amazon CEO has said that the company hasn't seen any signs of consumer tightening their wallets in the face of President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs. The comments came during Amazon's annual shareholder meeting, which was held virtually yesterday.
Right, moving on, we have US retail bellwether Walmart is planning to cut about 1,500 jobs as part of restructuring push to simplify its operations. The company's plan will impact teams in its global technology operations, e-commerce fulfillment in US stores, and its advertising business. Walmart Connect will be impacted with this move. The company will also eliminate some roles and opening some new ones according to the plan.
All right, now let's take a look at how UK inflation is faring. Now, it has surged to 3.5% in April, which is the highest in over a year. This was driven by a sharp rise in household bills, including energy and water, along with higher business taxes and minimum wage hike. Now, the jump has caught economists by surprise, raising fresh concerns about the cost of living in UK. With inflation still well above the Bank of England's 2% target, experts now warn that interest rate cuts may be delayed as the central bank rethinks its strategy amid persistent price pressures.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.